Hi ladies, are you sick of hot flashes that drench you in sweat before a big presentation, or those night sweats that keep you tossing and turning so that you don't have a productive day the following day? Well, I have the video for you. In this video, I want to talk about 3 of the best over-the-counter supplements that you can try to take to alleviate those hot flashes. And if you get to the end of this video, I want to talk about 3 that I definitely think you should leave on the shelf. For the best menopause advice, please subscribe to my channel. New videos come out every Friday. I don't want you to miss a single one. If you guys don't know me, hi, I'm Dr. Heather Hirsch. I am the clinical program director of the Menopause and Midlife Clinic at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, where I live and work in Boston, Massachusetts, and also faculty at Harvard Medical School, where I teach not only medical students, but residents everything about menopause and midlife, so that hopefully I can create more doctors who are really knowledgeable in all things women's health, particularly at menopause and midlife. If y'all want to follow me on Instagram, I'm over here at hormone.health.doc, where I let you guys weigh in on a lot of these topics and also tell me what kind of content you want to see from me. So really fun over there. I'm also the host of my podcast, Women's Health by Heather Hirsch, where we talk about all things menopause and midlife. So the link to that is in the description bar below, and go ahead and make sure you don't miss those, which come out on Wednesdays. All right, so let's get into my top 3 supplements and how they work and why I think they work. What I want to say about these products overall is that they are herbal or root-based products. So oftentimes coming from plants, and were found incidentally and over time have kind of grown to be shown to have properties in them that can help stop hot flashes. Now, first, the reason we get hot flashes is because the brain, our core body temperature, is controlled by estrogen receptors in our brain. And when we lose our estrogen at menopause, when those ovaries are pretty much closing down shop, those receptors are searching for estrogen. And when it's not there, it's kind of like going to the light switch and flicking it off and on and off and on, changing that thermoregulatory zone in our brain. Now, at menopause, we don't make really any estrogen anymore, so these over-the-counter supplements have these properties in them where they act similarly to estrogen. What that means is that their chemical structure, their biochemistry is similar in some ways to estrogen, but is no means estrogen. So my first sort of disclaimer about some of the over-the-counter supplements is that a lot of them can have placebo effect. Now, placebo effect is strong and is in everything that we take. For example, even Tylenol and Advil have some placebo effect. So if you are having very severe symptoms and the over-the-counter supplements simply aren't working, then you might need to go to something stronger, like a prescription strength hormone therapy or a prescription of non-hormonal medications to help your hot flashes. Let's dive in to the very first one on my list, and that is called Equal. I actually have a bottle of Equal with me, and this video is not at all sponsored by any of these supplements. They are just the ones that I really like. Equal has been out since about 2018, 2019. The main product in this is S-Equal, and S-Equal again has some estrogen-like properties. So what it does is it acts like estrogen in the brain when your brain is searching for estrogen, and by acting like estrogen and binding to some of those receptors, that can help sort of reduce either the frequency or severity of hot flashes. Now, this product in general, or this product actually has to be gotten on their website. Sorry, so you can see it better. You cannot find it on Amazon, unfortunately, but if you go to their website, you can get 10% off your first bottle, and you can see if it does help. Remember, overall, a lot of the supplements are going to have a placebo effect, or ideally, if it lasts for more than 3 months, that means that it is working for you. Okay. The next supplement that I want to talk about is something a lot of you have heard about, and that is black cohosh. Black cohosh is also, again, a herbal product. It was found and used medicinally and then actually introduced and increased in popularity in the mid-1950s for women's health issues, primarily for reducing hot flashes and night sweats associated with hot flashes. The black cohosh, again, has sort of estrogen-like properties in some of our organs and some of our tissues. So particularly it works similar to the S-Equal in that it acts like estrogen in your brain to help reduce the severity and frequency of hot flashes by trying to or binding to some of those estrogen receptors and sort of satisfying those receptors' needs for estrogen so that it can reduce your core body temperature or not be looking for estrogen so frequently, and it can overall just reduce the number or severity of your hot flashes. Now, black cohosh has some mixed reviews, and in some studies it's shown to really help hot flashes, and some studies shown to mostly have placebo effect, which I talked about in the beginning of introducing these supplements. Now, what I think is good about black cohosh and S-Equal that I've already talked about is that they're not necessarily harmful or dangerous. So when I'm thinking about supplements or herbals that my patients are taking, I just want to make sure that they are not dangerous, also that my patients aren't wasting money on supplements that aren't helpful. So that is what black cohosh does, and it can be really helpful. Okay, the third one that I want to talk about, you've also probably heard of, and that is called Estrogen. Estrogen is another over-the-counter supplement. Now, if you actually look at the ingredients of Estrogen, it's going to have a lot of the same supplements that I talked about in my menopause video here on the best supplements for women in midlife and menopause. So definitely check that one out. So it has a lot of vitamin E, it has magnesium, vitamin C. So there's a lot of other vitamins and supplements in Estrogen that are in pretty much your over-the-counter multivitamin, but always take a look at the back to see what is in the Estrogen. The other things that are in Estrogen that happen to make it more specific for menopausal symptoms is that it contains black cohosh, and we've already talked about that, and soy isoflavones. Now, we talked about black cohosh and having estrogen-like properties, and actually the same thing happens with the soy isoflavones. So soy isoflavones are products that their chemistry looks very similar to the estrogen molecule. It's not estrogen, neither is black cohosh, neither is S-Equal, which is in the Equal. However, they have estrogen-like properties, and that's how they help to stop and blunt hot flashes. In some of the other over-the-counter supplements in the Estrogen brand, other things that you might see are products that are derived of some of the very weak estrogens. So what do I mean by this? Well, Estrogen is a big line. It carries a lot of different products. You can also find on Amazon Estrogen Creams and what exactly is in those. So the human body, our female body, actually makes 3 types of estrogens. 95% of the estrogen we make is estradiol, and estradiol is what is in prescription hormone therapy replacement. The other 5% is made up of really weak estrogens, estrol and estrone. They're very, very weak, and again, they're not at all as potent as estradiol. In fact, again, if you do the math, 95% versus 5%, is very, very dismal. But those two chemicals, estradiol and estrone, or sorry, not estradiol, estrone and esterol, let me say that again, estrone and esterol, are going to have some weak estrogen-like properties, and those can sometimes be found in Estrogen or other over-the-counter estrogen products. So those are the big 3 that I actually really recommend, because placebo effect is really strong. If you don't see improvements after the 3 months, you most likely may have either had placebo effect or your brain has maxed out on their estrogen-like chemical properties and you might need to go to something else. So comment below, let me know, what have you tried that helped? Have you tried any of these? How long did they work for? What were some of the other benefits that you noticed? All right. As promised, I want to talk about 3 supplements that I think you should leave on the shelf. The first one is any type of wild yam product. Okay, so you may have watched Sex and the City 2, the movie, or sometimes heard that some foods such as like hummus or yams can convert into some estrogens and therefore have the same type of estrogen-like properties to help blunt hot flashes and night sweats. Well, I'm here to tell you there's just simply not enough yams or hummus that you can eat that's gonna have either the same effect as those supplements we first talked about, or of course, prescription hormone therapy. So really, don't spend your money on any type of wild yam cream, or you know, even a lot of people ask me about foods and increasing their foods and can it help? If it does, great, but you know, that's something really hard to stick with and not at all necessary. So leave the wild yams on the shelf. The second supplement that I say to leave on the shelf, although I know a lot of you ask me about and a lot of you find helpful, is the supplement DIM. Now, DIM actually comes from sort of those crunchy vegetables, or it's a byproduct of the breakdown of those crunchy vegetables, such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. When we eat those, it breaks down into a little chemical that has a long name you don't need to worry about, and its sort of slang name is DIM. And DIM is essentially just taking the end of those so that you don't have to eat a ton of crunchy vegetables to really kind of get those benefits, because a lot of us have, you know, the idea that we're gonna eat salad every day or vegetables, but we just don't get around to it. Or for some of us, it's actually kind of noxious to our stomach because it can be hard to digest. Now, when I really look at the research on DIM, it's really sort of so-so on reducing menopausal hot flashes. It does have some good anti-inflammatory effects and some benefits in reducing cancer risk, and that would make sense because vegetables are good for us, but it just doesn't have enough to say that it's really going to act like an estrogen and reduce hot flashes. That's not to say that if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. I just want my women to not spend a ton of money on supplements and find that, well, these really weren't some of the best ones, or they really didn't work for me. The third one that I say to kind of leave on the shelf is ashwagandha. Now, again, just like the supplement DIM, it may have some positive effects on you. Ashwagandha is another root that has a lot of benefits. They're very, very, very varied, and this means that they also can have really different effects on certain people at certain times in their lives. Again, ashwagandha and DIM are not necessarily dangerous so far that we know of, but it just doesn't seem to have enough evidence-based reasoning behind it for me to really recommend it as a #1 or top hot flash supplement. So I would say to also leave that one on the shelf. Now, if this has worked for you and has helped you, then again, that's okay. I don't think these are harmful, and that's my main benefit, or that's my main thing that I'm thinking about for my patients when I'm looking at the supplements that they are taking. Okay, that is my summary on the best supplements for hot flashes. Now, if that is not enough for you, or you are noticing placebo effect, the other thing you guys can do is check out my course, The Complete Guide to Menopause, because I really walk you through all the different types and kinds of prescriptions for menopausal hot flashes and night sweats. Now, I would also love to see you in my office. The number for that is below in the description bar. At this point in filming, I can only see patients if you live in really the New England area, Boston, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, via telemedicine, and I can't see you otherwise. I get a lot of questions for that. I wish that I could, and maybe things will change soon. But as for now, the way the rules work, you can see me. Actually, you can live anywhere. Your first visit just has to be with me in Boston, and then I can do telemedicine. It's just the first one I cannot do via telemedicine, and of this filming, it is not the best time to travel. But if you really can't see me, really the best thing to, or the next best thing, is probably my course. But I have so many videos here on YouTube, and I have my free podcast that you can also check out. Don't forget also you can download my menopause free menopause guide to sort of get a first glimpse of where you might be. Alright guys, comment below if this video was helpful. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. That tells the algorithm that this channel really provides valuable information for women in menopause and midlife. And that is really my passion in life, because I know that menopause and midlife is the area where information, research, and education is lacking the most in terms of women's health care. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for checking it out, and I'll see you next time.